Linda, it finally worked.
Yeah.
Wow, we had intro music. We both came swimmingly up on the screen. Wow.
And nice countdown and everything.
Almost feels like a real show. we almost feel like professionals. Like we know how to do this. We're making progress.
Well, next we need to get paid.
Yeah, that would be the next spot. Real quick for everybody, if you've been with us before, welcome back. If you're new with us, welcome. I'm Jay Hartman. I'm the editor-in-chief of Misti Media and all of its imprints. Joining me is my lovely co-host, Linda Kaye Hardie, an author, and more importantly, one of our authors. And she is my right-hand woman on this show. And awesome. I see that we've got our backstage guests now, which is terrific. Everybody's going to be here.
Good.
So we got two folks this week. I shot for the moon this week. I was like, you know what? I don't just want one guest. I want two guests.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of introducing two special things right now.
Yeah. So, we've done a bunch of mystery. We've covered mystery like 2 weeks in a row, which is awesome. I mean, it was nice to shine a little bit of a spotlight on, on White City Press and to be able to talk a little bit about those contributors. But by the same token, Misti Media is made up of other imprints and other people that our watching folks have no idea exist.
Yeah.
Normally we lock them in a closet and, give them a dish of water and a dish of food and it's all good.
Slide some cheese slices under the door.
For exactly. Not even the bread. Like just,
Yeah. Just you can't have too big a crack under the door or, yeah.
Exactly. And you can pick up enough lint from the floor on the cheese that it's just like having bread.
Right.
So we're gonna bring on our two folks in two different stages because I love suspense. And our second secret guest, who we've got him squirreled away off stage. We've got his mic muted. He can't do anything. So it's kind of like he'll be bringing up that second round in Family Feud where he's got to come in, answer the second load of questions, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But our first guy, the first guy we're bringing in today. How would you feel if you woke up tomorrow, Linda, and discovered that everything you knew about the world was completely different? So
that already happened, but I want to do it again.
Well, I mean, besides without doing LSD to do it. So
no, yeah. I feel like we're in an alternate timeline as it is. I want to get back to the normal one,
Because
let's go back.
One of my absolute favorite time periods, just because I lived through it, was the 80s. And you can see from our extremely colorful intro thumbnail on this week's YouTube. Our guest of honor this week sort of took the 80s to a whole different look. He has written an entire world of an alternate reality where things didn't quite work out from World Wars the way we thought, and gives a really unique, impressive stance on how things could have been.
That's one of my favorite genres is the alternate history genre, where you look at what if, and and scary and fun.
And most people kind of cheat their way out of it and just sort of take what happened and then just slightly twist it. But our guest this evening actually created an entire world around it, which
that's hard.
That's really hard. So without further ado, we're going to bring up to the stage the one, the only, the incomparable Stoney Compton. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Stoney Compton.
One hand clapping. Woo-hoo.
Hi, buddy.
Stoney.
He's very quiet.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know why.
If you have YouTube open somewhere else, you're going to want to make sure it's closed.
What?
If you have
I'm sorry,
YouTube
say
open
that again.
somewhere else, you want to make sure it's closed.
Oh,
Yeah, I hear feedback of our voices
okay. How
going
about
over and
now?
over as it loops through.
Yeah,
How
there's
about
a there's a
now?
there's like a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So close YouTube or at least mute it.
Okay. Yeah. Now I think I have everything turned off except. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I didn't know. Yeah.
So see, ladies and gentlemen, he writes about alternate realities, but has to deal with the hassles of the real world.
Don't we all?
Why do you
Technology.
think? Why do you think he goes for the alternate realities?
So,
Because this one,
can you hear
some
me
of it
now?
sucks.
We'd love it if you were a little louder, if it's at all possible.
I'm going to have to. I can't figure out why my microphone is so. Excuse me. So low. Um, but can you hear? Am I loud enough now?
Yes,
Okay.
we can definitely hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just run with that.
All right.
So,
Well, thank you for being here, sir.
oh, thank you for having me.
I know that you're busy trying to escape from aliens and everything else in your part of the world. Um, we won't disclose where you make home, but we will say that it is in the desert.
Oh, that's all right. I'm in the Four Corners area in New Mexico.
Guaranteed to have alien life forms somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably. We see strange things, and there's a lot of contrails here. But,
So, Stoney, give us a little background on you, my friend. When did you first get into writing?
okay, I lived in Alaska for 31 years, and I I was a graphic artist for over 40 years, and I was working freelance I had a studio and everything in downtown Juneau, beautiful little studio, etching press, the whole 9 yards, and I was making my living and feeding my family by having two contracts with two different state of Alaska departments, and Alaska has a different economy than the lower 48 does, and we had the price of oil dropped precipitously, I think down to $11 a barrel at that point, and they started laying off people left and right, and we had a lot of cases. And the thing about it is a lot of folks had bought houses at like an 18% interest, because housing in Juneau is tough. It still is. Anyway, they started canceling stuff, and I got two phone calls the same morning from each of those departments saying, we're canceling your contract, sorry, tough shit, good luck, and that was it. So I had to give up my studio, and which was, I'm one of those people who need a creative outlet, or I get really ugly to be around. And so I also my first wife and I, with our two kids, had her sister and her daughter living with us in this very, not really big house on Douglas Island, and which is hooked on by road to Juneau, or by bridge. But so and they were both working, my wife and my sister-in-law. So I was taking care of, two kids. My daughter was 10 years old, 11, no, more than that. She wasn't a problem, but my son and my niece were both basically toddlers. So I was being the dad for everybody, and I was going nuts. And so I came across, I'd played with writing in college, but every time I showed the teacher something, he'd say, "Oh, great, but it needs more work," and that was it. He didn't know any more than I did, and which was nothing. And so I started. I got the idea of. That's what it was. I came across a copy of the first volume of Writers of the Future contest, and
Mhm.
I read it, and I thought, hell, I can write this good. Well, I thought I could. So I decided we were hurting for money, but I went out and bought a computer on time payments because I tried typewriter. I'm a lousy typist. I can't touch type. I have to look at my fingers. I still have to look at my fingers, but at least it's easier to correct.
That's the only useful thing I will ever say that I got out of going to high school. I mean, I hated high school so much, but the one thing I remember really being beneficial for me was typing class. It's the only like lasting thing that I took away from that. That and years of humiliation and stuff from my therapist.
Well, I quit high school in my senior year and joined the Navy, so it shows you where I was at. But so we bought a computer, and I started writing stories and sending them into Writers of the Future. I got a dog here who thinks he has to.
That's okay. We rest assured we have Zeke the marketing dog at my feet. Linda's got her kitty of the screen. Our upcoming guest has a few of his own as well.
Yeah, that's a beautiful cat. We have 8 cats.
Thank you.
9.
I just have 2.
So Stoney, tell me something. What was it about your novels are, they stand their own in many ways, but especially books like Whale Song, you've really been affected by the Alaskan environment, by the Inuit people. What was it about that culture that you found so interesting to bring into your books?
I lived in prior to me, before I started writing. We lived in Fairbanks, and I worked for the Tanana Chiefs Conference, which is a Athabascan social services organization under the auspices of Doyon Corporation. And they hired me to do a comic book for them. And once we got the comic book done, they put me on staff, and I started their newsletter called The Council, which is still, by the way, in print and going great, because I told them they needed some way to let their constituency know what was going on corporate-wise. And anyway, I was in that job for 2.5 years, and I got to go visit villages up and down the Yukon and the Kuskokwim, and that job was like an immersion in another culture. It definitely was, and I really was blown away by how they adapted themselves to the harsh realities of interior Alaska, which is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, right now I think it's 50 below up there, and I saw that. We lived in a cabin north of Fairbanks that was 12 by 12 with a little hook-on 8 by 10 part, and no running water, no electricity. I had built I built a propane light system, and we used fuel oil, and we had a wood stove for cooking on. So it was pretty cool. And I always knew when it was 55 below because the lights would go out. That's when propane liquefies and it won't burn anymore. A lot of people don't know that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. Oh shit, it's cold. But I got totally immersed in the Athabascan people, and really was gobsmacked by the welcoming. They were just the friendliest folks you ever met. And so after I quit working for Tanana Chiefs, I was kind of looking for something else to do. I was doing freelance, working for 2 of the little newspapers around there, and they hired me for Tundra Times, which was Indian Eskimo Aleut newspaper had been started by Howard Rock, who by this time was deceased. He died in '76, I think. And anyway, it was still going strong, and it was the whole purpose of the newspaper was to promote the native land claims, which did get passed finally. And while I was working there was a whole bunch of Howard's stuff that was in the office, and he had etchings, and he had whale teeth that were inscribed and stuff, all kinds of nifty stuff. And he had a picture of an umiak full of hunters, and a whale was coming up to land on them. That's where I got the idea for Whale Song. I knew that was in there, and it was in the short story that I sold Robert Silverberg in '88. And then he came back and said, well, you know, I have a editor who's interested in it if you turn this into a novel. I hadn't thought past the story. And actually I sent the thing off first to Writers of the Future contest, and A.J. Budry's sent it back to me, and across the top, because in the short story, when the whale lands on the umiak, that's in the very beginning of the story, that's where I ended it. And he wrote back and says, no, this is where it starts. This is where they start their story. And I thought, God, he's right. But it took me, I have to admit, it took me 20 years to finish it. I wrote other things. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's the scene that if you open up the whole thing, you see the back cover. Show the back cover with the front cover. Yeah. So bingo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you can almost see that. I had to when I. Nice
and something I want to make sure I stress to all of the people that are watching. All of the covers, or at least the majority of the covers that belong on Stoney's books, Stoney did himself. So Stoney is his own cover artist, and I have to say that in however many years now I'm into publishing, I can't tell you how rare it is for me to keep the covers that have been created by an author. Almost always I end up going with all new covers, but Stoney's stuff is truly inspired, and I think we've had very little back and forth on any changes for the covers for your books, right? I mean, we really didn't.
One or two of them.
But yeah, I mean, nothing major at all. The other things I need to remind our watching audience this evening: this channel is not monetized in any way. We aren't compensated for our time being here. We're here to be able to present a show to you and present our authors and us. The best way that you can help support us, support our authors, and support independent publishing and indie press, down in the comments below, you're going to see a link to a jot form. Also, up here in the top of the chat is a pinned comment, which is also a jot form. In there, you're going to find Stoney's catalog of books. We're offering a special discount for anybody that is tuning in and watching tonight. You can get any of Stoney's paperbacks for $10 each. That's lower than you're going to be able to get them at any other retailer anywhere in the world. It's also less expensive than buying it from our website. And we do offer free worldwide shipping. And rest assured, any of the Stoney does much better when we sell our books direct than he does when you go to a retailer and purchase them. So again, best way you can help.
Retailer has to take the cut.
Oh, and boy, did they ever. So
yep.
We would really appreciate everyone's support and support Stoney, and for him taking the time to be here by using our jot form to purchase your titles from Stoney. For anybody that's watching this on the replay, as long as that jot form is still available down below in the comments, that means the offer is still there. So even if you're not able to pick it up today, come back to the channel, come back to this video, and as long as the jot form is there, we'll still let you order them at the special price of $10 each. So Stoney, who was the first publisher to offer you a contract?
Well, my first published novel was Russian America, and through the auspices of the late Eric Flint, who was a friend of mine, he got me in the door, and they published it, and they also published the sequel, Alaska Republic, and I was in the process of working on Whale Song at the time, actually, and I wanted to get that finished, and I did. And there was no, I didn't get any back padding or anything from Bain on that, so I went with self-publishing. I self-published everything else I had out there. Boy, howdy. My historical fiction.
Because you had been with Bain, correct?
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Bain is probably one of the biggest and most prominent science fiction publishers out in the world. They've been around since God was a boy. Anybody who's anybody in the who's who of science fiction, if they're a well-known name, they've done their time coming up through the ranks at Bain as well. So, for Stoney to have been at Bain is a pretty big deal. They don't take just anybody. They only take high caliber people. But you mentioned Eric Flint and you mentioned Ring of Fire Press, which I'm thinking, Linda, is a really good time to bring on my other guest. Because our next guest that we're going to invite up here also worked with Eric Flint at Ring of Fire. In fact, he was sort of the brains behind the. I like to think of him as the brains behind the operation. Eventually, I stole him for a previous publisher that I worked at, who shall not be named. As per our requirements here at Misti Media, we don't give them any press that we don't need to. But I was very, very fortunate that when we decided to start Nazca Press, I was able to reach out to our next guest and his wonderful wife, Joy Ward, and asked him to come be part of the Misti Media family and be the editor-at-large for Nazca Press. And he very graciously agreed and was instrumental in bringing Stoney. Stoney was already looking to leave the other publisher, but with things that had gone down, we really needed somebody that people could trust, that was an expert in the field, that they could say, look, do you endorse this? And he certainly did. So I want to bring up to the stage right now my dear friend and incredible valuable resource to all of us here at Misti Media due to his work at Nazca Press. First brought onto my radar by Sandra Murphy, who you folks have heard me talk about, and now just a legend and an icon in his own right, and a huge part of our family. Welcome to the stage, please, Mr. Walt Boyes. There he is.
Hey, Walt.
And Walt, let me get you unmuted there. Double check that you are not muted on your side.
I'm good, dear.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hello, good Sir Walt.
Hey, I see we got the same memo.
Yes, and although I should have figured this out better about not putting you direct in the Brady Bunch screen, not having you directly under me.
Well, okay.
Although if you look at it this way, Linda and Stoney are kind of in the same colors too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that Barney the dinosaur back there?
What, here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope, that's a Build-A-Bear frog.
Cool.
I help out at Build-A-Bear, building bears and frogs for kids.
So cool. Walt, does this make us the Mr. Brady side and they're the Mrs. Brady side?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking a chance on that.
I'm waiting for Alice to pop up in the middle while we're doing this.
Well, I got a dog here that'll pop up pretty soon.
So Walt,
well, we got a whole menagerie here.
Yeah,
and that's not even including the animals that are actually talking on the show. So Walt, tell me a little bit about your discovery of Stoney and your work with Stoney at Ring of Fire.
Well, the first thing is that I got to know Eric Flint.
And by the way, guys, I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. So if you've got YouTube open somewhere, be sure it's closed.
Not me. I will look.
Milo, shut up.
hear Walt?
No, he's
Okay. Is that better?
Still
No?
hear an echo, but it's
I can still hear the echo. The echo's worse, as a matter of
I
fact.
don't.
So you don't have YouTube up? Does somebody else have a computer up to watch this?
because the echo
Not
did
here.
start, the echo did start when we brought Walt on.
Yeah.
Hello, Regina. Regina, you'll appreciate the echo problem we're having at the moment.
Well, I can suffer through it if you will.
Oh, it's kind of like listening to the voice of God, you know?
Oh, I can do that.
I don't hear it.
Well, that's good, Stoney.
Yeah.
No, Eric and I got to be friends, and he started working on the Ring of Fire universe, the 1632 universe, and I was one of the people who helped him with his research. And suddenly, he had permission from Jim Bain to do an anthology, and he came to me and said, "You're going to write a story." And I said, "But Eric, I haven't written any fiction in 20 odd years." And he said, "So?" And the rest is pretty much history. And I met Stoney through Eric, and for a while, Joy and I ran Ring of Fire Press, and we published 130 titles in 3 years. And I'm real proud of that.
That's a lot of titles.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
A lot of work there.
yes, and I'm glad to see that some of the Ring of Fire titles are coming back out. Bain is bringing out the 1632 oriented titles, but only in ebook form. And so some of them, I'm negotiating for the rights to get those back out of limbo, because there's some awfully good ones there.
So, Walt, I'm going to mute you for a second while we talk to Stoney, but we're going to keep you right there on the air.
All right.
So, Stoney, oh, there's still an echo there, even though we muted him.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't hear an echo.
Somebody's microphone is, Regina suggested somebody's speaker might be too close to the microphone.
Not mine, is it?
Did it go away?
Nope,
No.
still there. Well, we certainly can't shut down, so we will just try to have to muddle through and hope for the best. And hopefully it doesn't annoy those watching. We do apologize, but we will we'll figure something out here. So, Stoney, tell us about your book, Russian America.
Okay. Let's see. When I first went to Alaska, when I first went up there, I went up in the spring, and I was going to go outside. I was going to leave the state before winter hit, and I was by that time I was working for the U.S. Air Force at Eielson Air Force Base as a heavy laborer on the roads and grounds crew. They hired me and three of my friends that we'd all been out firefighting together, emergency firefighters, which is a summertime job in Alaska that is there every year, unfortunately. And they were getting ready to go back to California, where they were from, and I just went up there on a lark. I wanted to see what it looked like. And I was sitting outside watching the northern lights, drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, and I don't do either of those things anymore. But and I thought, gee, I wonder what it's like to spend the winter here. I decided to do it. And so I ended up living in a little cabin out at Fox, which is 10 miles north of Fairbanks on the Steese Highway. In those days, they fixed the road now. but shortened it. But I didn't have a car, and the nice thing about living in Fairbanks in those days, this is 1967, was that if you're walking down the road and you stick your thumb out and the car goes by, they always stop every time, because it might be them next time. So getting a ride into town was never a problem. But I worked until midnight. I was working for a TV station as a cameraman and film editor, and that was before we had satellites. And I would walk, so I'd get off at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and there was no traffic. So I'd go shut down the bars and start walking home about 2 o'clock. And
Linda does that with any day that ends in Y.
Hey, I don't go to bars. That's the expensive way to drink.
Well, the thing about it was it's 10 miles, and when it's 48 below zero, it's a long, slow walk, because you walk fast enough to stay warm, but not too fast to sweat. If you start sweating, you're dead. And
oh yeah.
So I had a lot of time to think, and I would be walking along and I'd be looking at the hills around me and on the side of the road and stuff, and I started thinking about what would it be like to try and ambush an armored column, and that was the genesis of Russian America.
As one does when they're walking down a road. That's really I'm struck by the exact same thing whenever I walk down a road.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
But so I started playing with the idea of it, and just started writing the damn thing, and I threw away over half of it at one point and had to rewrite it because I didn't like the way it was going. But I wanted two things out of it. I wanted to have a different look at what it would be like if Count Rezanov hadn't died in 1805, and what could have happened. And I also wanted to. This was after I'd worked for the Tanana Chiefs, so I really wanted to show their stuff, and their beautiful way of living on the land, and the land was everything, and they don't like being pushed around the whole 9 yards. They still don't. I don't blame them, but that's where that was the genesis of it. And I just kept plugging away at it. It took me about 4 years to write that, and I'm still kind of. My problem is I tend to research too much, and I never use all the research. I use about 2% of everything I.
You don't want to use all the research, because if you use all of it, it gets preachy in the book. But if you don't have the research, it doesn't feel real.
But that came up. That came up last week also with Kay George. When she was discussing about doing all the research into the prehistory and about how much stuff she had, and finding the balance of how much to use and how much to save for somewhere else. Because I mean, in a way, they're Kay and Stoney are similar in that, except that he's writing it from he's taking the reality of what happened and creating almost like a new universe around it, whereas it kind of takes it as it happens and turns it into her books. Walt, I'm curious, what if I can get you unmuted? Come on.
Technology.
Oh, Walt, unmute yourself, please. There you go. Walt, I'm curious, what was it about Russian America when you read? I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Stoney, Sandra Murphy also did some editing with some of your books, correct?
Beats me.
Yeah, Sandy did some copy editing and proofreading. What I liked about Russian America and its sequels is that it was very matter of fact. It wasn't overblown. The writing was solid. The writing was good, and it told a great story. And that's one of the things that I admire greatly about what Stoney does with words. He tells a great story.
Thank you.
Whale Song is a great story. He's got a couple of others. He even has an enormous book, literally, called Treadwell, which is too long to print as a paperback.
Oh, wow.
Because the spine would be about that big.
Yeah, it would exceed the page count.
Yeah. So, and Treadwell reads like a great story all the way through. And the other thing that he can do is he can sync his words to something else going on. Like in Treadwell, for example, the story moves at the pace of the Treadwell mine stamping mill. Boom, 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 boom. And after a while, it sucks you in. And he's done that with the Russian America series as well. It's one of the things that draws me to Stoney's writing. I think he's.
And I should mention that, so, as I mentioned earlier, in addition to clicking the thumbs up for us down below and subscribing to the channel, if you do purchase the books through our show this evening, you do get them at $10 a piece, but we also have a special bundle deal in that jot form where you can pick up all 3 books in the Russian America series. So that's Russian America, Alaska Republic, and Cassidy's Challenge for $25. So savings of $5 when you pick up all 3 at one time, which is a really great deal.
One of the things that I'm really happy about is that we've finally been able to bring Cassidy's Challenge out. It's been a long time since we were able to do that, and I'm really, really excited about it.
And I have to say, folks, that when you're an editor-in-chief and you own a publishing house, you don't, just because you know the publishing industry doesn't mean you necessarily know the content. And for me, one of the key reasons why I needed Walt was my knowledge in science fiction and fantasy is pretty poor. I don't necessarily know what's hot and what's not. I know I can only say like what I like when I read it. Obviously, I love Stoney's stuff, and I'm very proud to be his publisher. But it's thanks to having somebody like Walt on board who can identify that material and be able to say to me, "Hey, don't sleep on this. This is something great. This is something we need to have as part of our catalog." And Walt has a ridiculous pedigree in the industry that I 100% trust.
Plus, I'm married.
Anything he tells me, and Stoney.
Plus, I'm married to another person with an extremely big pedigree in the industry. Between the kinds of books I like to edit and read, and the kinds of books that Joy, my wife, likes to edit and read, we cover it all.
And Stoney, I get to embarrass you here because you'll be happy to know we just closed the books on 2025, and you were our #2 author of the year.
Oh,
Superb.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Good to know.
Very, 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 very proud of you. Very, very proud. It makes me very, very happy to be able to tell you that, because you are definitely a stumper for your material. You will get out there and you will do whatever you can to get people to know about it, and I appreciate that. I really, really, really want you to tell people about Whale Song, because Walt had already taken care of Russian America and that series and some of the others, but Whale Song was one that I really kind of was sort of the first one I truly got involved with. The others we just kind of said, okay, it's a reprint, but Whale Song was something we kind of revisited together and talked about. And this book is, I have no other way to put it, it's fucking genius. I mean, there's just there's nothing else on the market like this book at all, ever, anywhere. And it's just fucking brilliant. And I would really love it if you would please tell our watching audience about Whale Song.
Okay. One thing about this version of Whale Song, there's two versions. I self-published that way back, and I had a outside editor, content editor, go through it, and she said, don't use the space stuff in the front in the beginning because it'll confuse the audience. Well, after a while, I decided I did what she said, and I didn't like it that it wasn't there because it comes back around. But anyway, the whole thing starts out in space, and there are space stations equidistant around Earth, and anyway, the space station gets wiped out by a huge asteroid. They try to destroy it, they blow it to pieces, and part of it goes off into the outer reaches. Part of it goes real close to the Earth, and one part lands right in the middle of the Middle East. And the Mediterranean grows by 3 times from what happens. So then Earth is in a 20-year deep freeze, and our story starts in Alaska, northern Alaska, Point Hope, and which is I picked Point Hope because it was Howard Rock's hometown, and he gave me the idea for the initial Whale Song, so I decided to put it there. And not that he knows it, well, he might, but anyway, it's about Noah Maniluk, who is a little tiny, he's a runt, and he's the second son, and his older brother is everything he's not, robust and strong and a real hunter, and his father really thinks that they should have just stuffed Noah's mouth with snow and put him out on the ice right after he was born, but his mother wouldn't hear of it. She saved him, and he realized, the father brought home a seal that glowed in the dark, and he brought it home because he wasn't sure that she should use it or not, and his wife says, we eat everything, and he says, well, you eat it, I'm not going to do it because I didn't hunt it, it told me where it was. And she read right. So while she goes out to the butchering shed, and she's butchering it with her ulu, and Noah's with her, and she feeds him a piece of raw liver, which was a delicacy in old times, and then we're back to the old times again. And as soon as he takes a bite of it, he's suddenly above everything. He's looking down, and it startles him, and he hits his mom's hand and shoves her hand underneath the ulu, and she slices herself. Well, there's no doctors, so she's freaked out. She runs in, and he feels everything that's going on in the house. He hears his dad get excited and pissed off, and what'd that kid do now, and everything else, and he doesn't understand what has happened to him. It takes him years to understand what happened to him. But over time, as he grows, he realizes he can call animals to him. And at one point, he's sitting out by himself, he thought, and he calls rabbits. And suddenly he's surrounded by dozens of rabbits, Arctic hares actually. And all of a sudden, and he's in one of them's mind, and it's something kills it. There some boys have followed him to actually, everybody made fun of him because he was a runt. But when they saw him do this, they killed they killed a bunch of the rabbits. But he was in the mind of one of them that died, and it just freaked him out. But the word was out. He could call animals. So by the time he's 17, they've made him a shaman, and he goes out and he calls fish to the fishermen. He calls, and finally the sun comes back, and the Chukchi Sea isn't frozen over anymore, and the whales are starting to come back, and so they're out hunting whale, and his older brother is now an Umelik, which is a whale boat captain, and it's a very prestigious thing in their culture, and so they're out he's out in it with his brother and his Umiak with his crew, and he's calling the whales, and they get one. Well, no, they don't. They haven't got it yet. He's calling them, and one of them answers him. Says, "Who are you? What are you?" And this is the first time that's ever happened to him.
And I want to stop there so that we don't give too much away of what happens after that. But essentially what happens is a brilliant story of communication between human and whale, where you almost forget which one is which.
Yeah.
That it's done in such a way that you realize the parallels of our effect on the environment and our effect on whales and other creatures, their effect on us, and how much we all have in common, including common enemies. And the book is just, I keep saying it's brilliant because your ability to write the whale just as well as you write the human is astonishing.
Okay.
And anybody who appreciates books that are steeped in culture and use the language of the culture for authenticity are going to be blown away by this book. Because, I mean, the amount of attention to detail that you've used, referring to people as the long teeth, and, just all the phraseology that you have in it. You created this world that is science fiction, at the same time it's fantasy, at the same time it's literary fiction. I think Whale Song is one of the most underrated, most missed books. Like, I feel like this is the book that everybody in the world should be reading and doesn't know about it. And I don't usually say that about like every book I publish, but there's something about Whale Song that to me is the epitome of literature. Like, this book should be taught in schools. I mean, that's how strongly I feel about it. I'm so super passionate about this book. I just think it's genius. Is it hard for you to go back and see that genius yourself in the writing? Are you too close to it to be able to appreciate it from the way a reader like me sees it?
I have reread that book 3 times after, way after it was published. And when I talk to people, when I meet people, and they find out I'm a writer, they go, "What should I read of yours?" I always say Whale Song. I said, frankly, it's the best thing I've ever written, and I'm trying to catch up to it with the rest of my work. But it is unique, and I'm I shouldn't say this because I'll never hear the end of it. I'm actually plotting the sequel.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now I've written nothing. It's still floating around in my brain pan, and that's how I start. Is I get an idea and I think about it a lot, and I've been thinking.
Now you're going to have to show it to me.
I have to write it first, Walt. But yeah.
Well, tell your subconscious to get it in gear.
Well, right now I'm working on 2 other things, but anyway, yeah, it's I spent, like I said, I spent years writing that and rewriting it, and that there's parts of that novel that have been rewritten 14 times, and but I wanted to get it. I wanted to get it to where it had heart, and I think I made it. And
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The book is like a living, breathing entity. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It has a life of its own. It is just stellar fiction. I mean,
And when you go through it, you stop noticing that one of the characters is a boy and the other character is a whale. They're just two friends.
Yep.
It's a marvelous story about friendship.
And it takes a skill to be able to immerse the reader to that point that those lines blur. That's when you know you've got a quality piece. So, Walt, before we start wrapping things up here, I did want to ask you. I'm assuming Nazca Press is open to submissions.
Oh yes, yes. In fact, I've gotten some. I'm working on them. We are open to both long length and short length stories. I'd be happy to look at short stories, novellas, and that sort of thing, as well as full length novels.
We've included down below in the comments section for the show. You will find Walt's email address. If you do have a submission that you would like to submit to him for science fiction, fantasy, or horror, those are the three categories that we cover over at Nazca Press, an imprint of Misti Media. We would love it for you to go ahead and submit and give Walt plenty to do so we keep him out of trouble and keep him from spraying graffiti on highway overpasses.
I've got to dig out some of my horror stories that I haven't found homes for and see if Walt likes them.
Well, I just got a story that it's from an editing customer of mine. It just knocked me on my can. It's a story about a kidnapping written from the point of view of the young woman who's kidnapped.
I was afraid you were going to say it was from the point of view of like the rope.
Yeah, I know.
But that's a very interesting. The terror in that story is better than Stephen King any day.
Well, folks, again, if you've got submissions out there that you'd like Walt to consider for Nazca Press, please, by all means, do visit. His email address is down there. We do typically ask that any submissions that come in, please submit the entire thing with a brief synopsis, just so Walt knows what to expect when he's looking at it. But by all means, do include attached to the email the full manuscript. Please do not put it in the body of the email. If you need to look at our submission guidelines, you will find them at mistimedia.com, and includes an update of everything we're looking for. So, Walt, thank you so much. We're gonna push you back stage for a little bit as we wrap up the show, and then we'll all come back to the green room and join you here in a little bit. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Everybody, wave. Say thank you to Walt. Thank you, Walt.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, Walt.
And then there were three.
Ooh. Isn't that an Agatha Christie story?
I think she got
not quite.
So, Stoney, I know we've still got a couple books left to publish for you. Let's see. Your most recent one was the first book in another series called Incident in Alaska Prefecture, correct?
Right.
And the second book is
Twilight of Empire.
Okay, and we'll be getting that one out here probably in the spring. I think folks will be able to look forward to that. Right around that time, we should be able to bring that out really soon. We're already formatting it as we speak.
Superb. superb. Now there are 2 more books in that series, Reich War West and Reich War East, and frankly they're mostly combat. Toward the end of that, I got kind of tired of combat, but you know, I had to finish the story.
Is there anything else you would like to share with our watching audience this evening?
Well, for the Russian America series, there's a 4th novel that I think I've submitted, maybe not, but it's called Mission to Victoria, and it's more about the female characters that I have created that start out in Russian America and are all the way through, frankly. It's there. I don't know if that's the last of it or not. It depends on how well they do. So, yeah, and I have a couple of science fiction ones, Level 6 and Return to Kiana, and they're space opera, flat out space opera, which I really enjoyed, and I've got the 3rd one in that series that about maybe halfway written. So,
well, I'm very, very grateful that that you chose Misti Media and Nazca Press to be your new home. Thank you very much for trusting us with your works. I'm thrilled to have you as part of our family. I'm thrilled to see that readers are really taking to your stuff. You know, numbers don't lie, and clearly people are into your works, and it's awesome. And we're 2026 is about reaching even more of those readers, and
great.
if everybody helps spread the word on your books, that'll be awesome.
Sounds good to me. I appreciate being part of the family.
All right, so we're going to send you backstage now, and Linda and I are going to wrap stuff up here.
All right, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, applause please for Stoney Compton.
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right, and then there was us two.
Yep. And
all right,
the friend Callie.
Linda, what do you got? What do you got coming up next?
Boy, I'm working on all sorts of classes locally, and thinking about some webinars, web classes, and stuff like that. But I've got a bunch of projects that I'm working on. A novella, lots of short stories. I do want to this year do the revision on my middle grade fantasy novel, because I think that's got some good potential. I just wasn't able to. I've let it sit fallow for a long time, and I think now is the time to look at it again and go through and punch up what needs to be punched up.
Well, we'll just need to beat you until you get it done.
Well, that's what you've got Sandy Murphy for.
She's good at cracking the whip.
She's good at that. Great, one of the greatest editors that I've ever worked with.
I agree. Hoping to get her on the show. She's camera shy, so we might have to get her on here as sound only, but I do want to get her on the show. So next week, a week from today, is my birthday. I will probably be doing a live show next Tuesday. I'm going to attempt to drag Walt into it if he's available. Looking to do a publishing Q&A and hosted by Walt and myself, and hopefully Sandy in there as well. I'd be springing this on at the last minute, but I think it'll be really fun and a fun way to celebrate my birthday, getting to take questions from the watching audience, and the three of us together are like a mad storm. And then you and I will be back 2 weeks from today. I don't have the guest list in front of me as to who's up next, so but we will have another person for you and I to lob softball and hardball questions to. So looking forward to that. Thank you to everybody who tuned in or is watching this on the replay. All of that all of your views, all of your subscriptions, all of your thumbs up, all that's helping to move us towards getting monetized down the road, which of course helps a small independent press like us keep the doors open, be able to keep publishing. Again, the best thing you can do to help support us and our authors is to actually purchase the titles that you hear about on the show or see on our websites. By all means, take advantage of the job form down below in the comments, or pinned to the top there to take advantage of some really great pricing on Stoney's books.
And it doesn't cost you, the viewer, listener, anything to subscribe.
Nope, totally free.
And it doesn't like fill your inbox or any of that bullshit. You just subscribe and it helps us.
And it's totally free to give us a thumbs up too. And share the video. Tell other folks that you think might find some of this interesting. I really want to give a shout out to Cajun Roots reseller Johnny, and everybody in the family over there that meets up every morning, including folks I saw in here this evening, Red Arrow Resell Regina, who I absolutely adore. Just one of the nicest human beings. But I've been able to get us involved in their community, their resell community, but the people there are so incredibly kind and so supportive, and they've been real advocates of our show, and getting the word out and subscribing. And I couldn't possibly thank them all enough for their support to all of us. Having folks in our corner, even though we're not, technically their kind of reseller, they don't look at us that way. They look at us as part of their family, and having that support behind us is immense. That it's really encouraged me to keep doing the show and keep moving forward, because I see all the things that they do and accomplish and all the support they've given us. So much love to the whole reseller community out there with Johnny and Mark and all of those folks. And again, thank you so much, Regina, for being here. I love you dearly. I really do. Very genuinely. Linda, I adore you as well. You wouldn't want to do this without you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thoroughly enjoy it. This is fun, and you're just great to work with, work for. Yeah.
Well, folks,
we're going to get more involved.
Yep, we got lots more coming. So folks, we're going to end the stream there for this evening, and we're going to go jump backstage with our special guests that were here and say goodbye to them. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for sharing and the likes and everything else you do to support us in independent press. Go out there and read a really good book this week, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, folks.
Take care.